Good afternoon. I am going to speak about Wesley Clair Mitchell. Wesley Clair Mitchell was an American economist known for his empirical work on business cycles and for guiding the National Bureau of Economic Research in its first decades. Mitchell was referred to as theorist in Veblen's star student. Mitchell's career as a researcher and a teacher took the following course: instructor in economics at the Chicago, assistant professor and professor of economics at the University of California, Berkeley, visiting lecture at Harvard University, etc. He was one of the founders of the New School for Social Research, where he taught for a time between 1919 and 1922 of the National Bureau of Economic Research, where he was director of research until 1945. The National Bureau was the institution through which Mitchell had greatest influence. His important associate includes Arthur Burns and Simon Kuznets. In his autobiography, Kuznets acknowledges in great intellectual depth to Mitchell. Mitchell has also made valuable contribution to the history of economic thought. Mitchell's thesis, published as a history of greenbacks, considered the consequences of the inconvertible paper regime established by the university in the Civil War. Mitchell's next project, which would occupy him for the rest of his life, was a study and measurement of the business cycle, which was then emerging as the big problem in economics. 30 years later, Mitchell was still working on business cycle, and he published another large work measuring business cycles with A.F. Barnes. Milton Friedman believed Mitchell is greatly considered primarily an empirical scientist rather than a theorist. However, Mitchell's main creative effort went to its empirical work on business cycles. Mitchell stated an endogenous theory based on the internal dynamics of capitalism.